Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to yet another Destiny video. So, following on from the Game Informer insane news blowout, I wanted to put together another video to talk about a few more things. Now do bear in mind there is so much stuff to talk about right now, I'm not going to cover it all today, so I will have some more videos tomorrow and over the coming days, pretty much for the rest of this week until I have covered everything you guys need to know. So do keep it locked to the channel, but in this video I want to focus on three main things. The first being the new light cap, the second being a brand new customization option known as Ornaments, a brief bit on artifacts, but I will be doing a more in-depth video on that soon, and also a quick note on the future of Destiny after the Rise of Iron. So, with that being said, if you do enjoy this video, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts, but let's get started. Now, I'm taking extracts from the Game Informer articles, but I'm going to read you guys the most important bits and then we'll discuss them afterwards. So the first thing is, character level is staying at 40. But light values are now jumping from the current cap of 335 up to 385. However, that cap will then be further increased to 400 when the hard mode version of the raid launches some weeks after Rise of Iron's launch. So just to clarify, the raid is going to be launching on the 23rd of September. That is 3 days after Rise of Iron launches, which is of course on the 20th. The article also says that new rare, blue, legendary purple and exotic gold items will help the players ascend through those new tiers, and the system that they observed at their time playing the game appears to be largely similar to the way it works in the game right now. So, your new light caps as of the 20th, basically when Rise of Iron comes out, will be 385. That will be the highest you can reach when Rise of Iron launches, and of course after doing the normal mode raid. But a few weeks after, when the hard mode raid launches, then the cap will raise up to 400. So eventually, think, a couple of months down the line, that is of course where you'll be. But that is going to be the new cap, which is super exciting. That is a significant jump from 335, which is really cool. But 385 is also a nice thing to bear in mind, because that's a sensible enough jump where it's big enough to make a difference, but it's not so big that it's going to be unobtainable within the 3 days before the raid. Of course, do bear in mind you won't be 385 by the time you do the raid. You'll most likely be, I don't know, something like 350, 360. But provided you're somewhere around there, then normally you'll be good enough to enter the raid. Of course, once we do get the minimum requirement values, I will of course let you know, but for the time being, 385 followed by 400 are your light caps. Moving on from there, and this of course ties into, progressing and upgrading your light, they're going to be introducing a new Rise of Iron record book, which will track your progress throughout the entirety of the expansion. So instead of like having your conventional quest system, which of course will still exist, you'll also have an accompanying record book, and this echoes similar systems that were used in, SRL, or of course the Moments of Triumph. And this record book has discrete tasks that you have to complete throughout the Rise of Iron content, and then when you complete any of those tasks, it adds to your overall percentage completion of the record book, and then when you reach designated milestones, you will then get new armor, emblems, and more. So of course that is, and this is confirmed, that is where your Iron Lord gear will come from. So Iron Banner will of course come from Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris from Trials of Osiris, your raid gear, etc. But this particular set, the Iron Lord stuff, will come from your Rise of Iron record book. And while remaining on the topic of gear, they also said that in addition, Bungie shared that it will be releasing a large number of new weapons and complete armor sets. Now, new sets are on offer for Iron Banner, PvP event, the Iron Lords, again as mentioned, obtained through the record book, Trials of Osiris, the Wrath of the Machine raid, and the new Archon's Forge Arena event. Which means from the core activities, there are at least 5 different sets of endgame gear. However, in addition to that, there are also going to be new options for all the factions. So when you consider that Infusion will still be a thing, then of course, 5 different main activities, plus the faction gear, plus maybe the conventional vendor gear as well, then, long story short, there are going to be lots of different gear combinations that you can go and aim for, which means if you guys like playing the game in different ways, then of course you're not bound by one particular activity. Now, moving on to the next thing, and this is something that actually excites me, because as someone that really likes customizing my character, the notion of ornaments. Ornaments are going to be introduced, and they are a new aesthetic customization feature that quote-unquote allow players to enhance the geometry and appearance of individual armor pieces, as well as changing the appearance of exotic weapons. So let's just kind of sort of talk about that for a second. We know that in the April update, they introduced this notion of chroma. It's a very basic system, but you put the chroma in the gun and it changes the lights on the gun. Now, if you take this one step further, I actually mentioned this in my Siva Patrols and Dormant Siva Clusters video that I put up earlier in the week. Basically, what it sounds like they're going to be doing is there'll be some sort of slot in your gear that you can put an ornament in, and that will then allow you to change the appearance. Now, whether you have control over how it changes it, whether there'll be a few select options, or whether it is literally a case of you get a particular ornament and that has a particular effect. So could it well be that those Siva infused weapons that we've seen, maybe you don't actually find them like that. Maybe you find some sort of Siva ornament, you put it in the weapon slot, and suddenly it changes it from being a regular, say, Omolon scout rifle to a Siva infused, wire wrapped, red menacing Siva weapon. And also, if you look at some of the screenshots, we of course do know that the Kvozdov is coming back as an exotic. Again, I'll speak about that in a future video. But in some of the accompanying screenshots, it also looks like there is something that looks remarkably like Kvozdov in form factor, but it does also look aesthetically different. So this could be a sample of an ornament changing the appearance. But it's safe to say, for those of you guys that like to customize the way you look, not only do we now have a lot more gear options to choose from, plus of course we know that class items will respect shaders again in Rise of Iron. We'll of course also have all the new shaders, and we will now have ornaments, which means we should really and truly be able to personalize the way we look. And also, if there is enough variety in ornaments, then it could also mean that two people could be wearing the same armor set and they might also look distinctly different. Now, that's enough on ornaments for the time being. I want to touch briefly on artifacts. As mentioned, I am going to be doing an in-depth artifact video later on, but because this is so interesting, I do want to include this in this video. So, while players can still infuse older artifacts, Rise of Iron is going to introduce 8 brand new artifacts that are class agnostic, i.e. you can use them no matter what class you are, and each of these new artifacts connects to a particular member of the deceased Iron Lord, such as Felwinter, Jolda, Scori, etc. A new character named Tira Khan is the centerpiece for Guardians looking to acquire these new artifacts. She sends players out into the Plaguelands to commit mighty deeds in memory of Iron Lords, and upon completing these tasks, you then gain an item called the Iron Lord's Legacy, which in turn can be used to acquire one of 3 artifacts that Tira has on offer in any given week. So, over the course of 8 weeks or more of play, then you should be able to acquire all 8 artifacts, and then once you actually get them, you take them to the Iron Lord's throne room, and you basically you light the flame in front of the corresponding Lord, and you've then powered and activated that particular artifact. And each of these artifacts has a game-changing ability attached to it. One of them offers, for example, the option to melee enemy units and gain their allegiance for a short time. A second artifact eliminates your super, but gives you 2 grenades, 2 melees, and an increase in all your stats. And each of these artifacts can be combined with exotic weapons and armor, as well as subclasses, to basically create new and interesting build options. They also said that each of these new artifacts is designed to evoke the character of the Iron Lord for which it's assigned to. So, for instance, Jolda tended to charge headlong into danger, so her artifact actually eliminates the sprint recharge delay. Now, as mentioned, there are 8 in total, and there is a detailed description for all of those in the Game Informer magazine. So when I actually do the detailed breakdown artifact video, which will probably go live either tomorrow or the day after, then that will give you guys everything you need to know. So hang tight for that one. But for the time being, the last thing I want to mention is a note on what happens to Destiny after Rise of Iron launches. And while Bungie have in the past typically been quite tight-lipped about what happens post-expansion, they tend just to talk about the here and the now and then keep everything else quite secret. They have this time decided to pull the curtain back and give us a bit more visibility. They said that fans of last year's Halloween-themed event will be happy to hear that the Festival of the Lost is going to return in October. Even though it's quite close to launch, it's still going to return along with new masks to chase and some other surprises. Plus, any fans out there for SRL, Bungie did say that Sparrow Racing League is going to return in December, and it includes tweaks to the existing tracks along with new tracks inspired by Rise of Iron environments. However, beyond the racing experience, Bungie said they're eager to expand the winter event into something larger. They said that having learned from the community, they want to make Sparrow Racing League a little bit more than just racing, even though it's kind of in the name. So they said that you'll be able to do more with the event than just race Sparrows. We don't really know exactly what that means, but the point is, Sparrow Racing League is coming back in December. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and of course Festival of the Lost will be back, so at least from the launch in September, all the way through to, normal raid, hard raid, Festival of the Lost, Sparrow Racing League, we should have plenty of stuff to keep us busy, at least for the rest of the year. Whatever happens once we hit January into the new year will remain to be seen, but for the time being, that is enough for this video. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about all of this stuff, or any of the additional stuff you might have read? It'd be cool to kind of chat with you guys about what you're most excited about. Also, what do you guys think about that new ornament thing? That is probably one of my favourite things. It sounds really weird because there's, of course, new gear, new weapons, new, so many other things, and my favourite thing ends up being a customization option. But anyway, that's me, so thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.